One thing that I did really want to speak about, because this movie definitely still stands up today and people still love watching it today. But one thing that I wanted to speak about was that, you know, this film has faced a lot of backlash for its just like stereotyping, racial stereotyping and sexism and homophobia and so on and so forth. I think like the reason why I still love this movie is because whenever I was watching it, I was watching the story of like revenge from these like teenage girls, like, you know, taking it too far basically, and then like losing sight of like the good in themselves and kind of like everyone's just unhappy. And I think like when Katie's like sucking the poison back out of her life, like it's a beautiful message, and that's always the message I loved, and that's the message that like I'll continue to like. So it was never really part of these other bits of the movie, but I do think it's worth us speaking about, because we sort of talk about this movie as like it's like the greatest movie ever, but there is a lot that's like kind of questionable. From your experience watching the musical, is a lot of that gone? Like, how have they handled that?
Yeah, they've completely stripped that out. I think they've been really, they've done it really well, and you don't really question much of it. Well, you don't question you don't have any of those like, ooh, that's not okay.
Yeah.
They've done really well there.
But you're also saying that they've potentially softened a little bit the meanness of the girls in Mean Girls.
Towards the end,
feels a little. It's definitely more PC than the meanness, and like you were saying earlier, like you feel like you're a little bit more inside the Mean Girls group and understanding where they're coming from and why they're so mean.
Yeah, it kind of felt like this version, the new version of Mean Girls. I kept on just thinking I was watching like sex education. I kept thinking I was watching Sex Education, like the musical movie, because it was really well done, and like it was politically correct, which is great. Also, it was really that it just is what teenagers like, what they were wearing, and it just felt very different to the original Mean Girls,
right?
In
They
a way that felt
it.
Totally modernized it.
Okay.
It actually made me feel a little bit like slightly. I actually didn't love the new one. But maybe it was because it felt like it wasn't for me. Yeah, it was like it's for a younger audience. I'm not wearing cool things like that.
She's got 2 green jumpers with her today.
But like, I think they were wearing.
On Wednesdays we had green.
Oh yeah, we're not wearing pink, and it's Wednesday.
I don't own anything pink, guys.
Yeah, we didn't do it for Barbie. We're not doing it for Mean Girls.
True. Yeah.
I will not be dictated.
But yeah, I felt like maybe in this new one, it might be more relatable for people who are in high school now.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Well, it's so like TikTok heavy. Even the way that the film opens is them recording that opening song on the phone, and then it opens up behind them. Should we give a bit of context? So did you watch?
Yeah, so I watched the musical version on Broadway in 2018. And Reneé Rapp was playing Regina George on Broadway. She wasn't the original Regina George, but she had just taken over.
Would love to have seen that. And she was also just like I don't know if she was like a TikTok star at the time, but she was like a viral sensation because of her incredible voice.
So yeah, it felt very modern, it felt very young, it felt very cool. And I remember watching the musical and thinking, this is not the greatest show I've ever seen, but I still love it because it's got everything in it that I need from this musical, and like none of the bits that are kind of questionable from the movie. And so I just kind of respected it. There were people leaving and walking out, and like there was like, I think the guy who was playing Aaron Samuels like started like singing, and like I just watched like 4 or 5 people just like up and leave. Yeah,
his character does not slap in the movie,
which I liked him, but
in the movie.
Yeah, but he wasn't too heavily featured, which I also loved. Like none of the.
I loved him, but he wasn't in it, which I loved.
Yeah. It was great that they gave him like, in small doses.
No, but I thought that was a good thing. Like, oh yeah, cool, because we don't need them. It's about the girls. So yeah, I actually thought that was great. But I did like him. I thought, yeah.
I really enjoyed this, by the way, the musical version.
Good.
Right.
I agree. Like, I think some of the, like we were saying with Wonka, like some of the music's not super memorable. But but I just love a musical, girls.
Do you?
Did you not know?
I don't feel like I did know that about you.
Are you being sarcastic?
I'm not.
Are you mad? I love musicals.
Did you know that?
I actually didn't.
I don't.
Have I just assumed a new personality since watching Mean Girls?
Yeah, you can't. Like, you wear black
As
all
you
the
know, I
time.
love musicals.
When did you ever love
Guys,
music?
I love musicals.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
I feel like the only musical we've all sat down and watched
Wonka.
together was Cats and Wonka.
Okay, but not great examples,
Right.
though.
No. So what's like your fave? What's like your top 10? No,
Okay.
well, okay, not 10. 3.
We haven't got the time. I really love Waitress, which I
Okay.
saw in the West End.
Okay.
I really love Moulin Rouge film.
Oh yeah.
And I really love Dear Evan Hansen stage, but not film. So I wonder if I would like the stage version of Mean Girls. I fully went into the film version thinking I'm really not going to like it. But I was swept away. As soon as there's music on and there's good performers, and Reneé Rapp, she's incredible, superstar.
She sounds like Billie Eilish.
Yeah, she's really unbelievable.
Blah, 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 blah. You know, like when you, what's it called? Vibrato.
Vibrato.
I was like,
Wow. Let me just reply to this email real quick.
Wow.
yeah.
You should be a singer teacher. Yeah, no, I really, really enjoyed it. But I think if you did not love musicals and you're not enthusiastic about like songs and performance, then it just, I think you go into this and be very disappointed.